Hey there, good morning. Kendal here. And hope you guys got your coffee and all that good stuff. Every week, you're going to hear a lot of commotion this morning because my whole house decided to get up with me. So that changed everybody's time patterns around it. So as you come on, just remember to kind of say hi and all that good stuff. Don't be afraid to ask questions. They are much appreciated. Today, I think I'm going to cover, as I titled this, Proof is in the Pudding. And, what is that? The pudding of our lives is what I'm talking about there. And so the proof really is in the pudding. If you want to know what kind of energy you're putting out, where your frequency is at, what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, a lot of the times we might say, oh no, I'm thinking positive thoughts, I am feeling happy feelings, I'm doing all the right things, and then we look out into our world and we're like, but why isn't this out there? Look at my life. I still have my car just broke down and I just lost my job and this happened and that happened and all this stuff is attacking me. So the proof is in the pudding that whatever we think about the most is exactly what is reflected into our life. So, Einstein said imagination is everything, is preview of life's coming attractions. And there you have it. What are you imagining? What do you find yourself daydreaming about when you're on autopilot driving home? What do you find yourself consistently coming back to feeling emotion-wise when you were, just alone, or there's moments like even if you're watching a really good movie, there's moments during the movie that you kind of go off into your own world and you just don't even realize what's going on in this moment. So you're not conscious of the thoughts that you're thinking at that time. But when you come to, what are the thoughts that you're thinking? There goes the coffee pot. So, like I said, everybody's awake. And so, since, be very, very conscious of the thoughts that you are thinking and of the feelings that you are having. Because if you look out and you see that your life is not doing what you want it to do, it's not a representation of what you want it to be, then you're definitely not thinking what you think you're thinking. You're definitely not feeling what you think you're feeling. But here's the little other thing is that sometimes we may be really feeling all this good stuff and thinking these good thoughts, and then shit happens, and it feels like that's not on point to what our desire is. That's not getting us to where we want to go. It is though. Most likely, if you are really being conscientious of your thoughts and you are really focusing in on the feel-good feelings, so there's the positive feelings, the feelings of love, the feelings of joy, the feelings of gratitude, of happiness, right? If you're really focusing on that, then shit manifests in front of you. It is one of two things. It is either that you're not thinking and feeling what you think that you're feeling. So first of all, come back to that state of awareness. You have to become aware and really start questioning. But then the second thing is that potentially you need to go through this, and what you're wanting is right there. And there was a great book back in the 90s, and I don't remember the author of it, but it was called Failing Forward, and it's actually a book on sales, I believe. But I remember reading it, and actually I didn't read it. I kind of skimmed through it because my husband at the time, he had read it, and I was doing kind of like the Cliff Notes version of it through him, and then also picking it up and looking at it. But the gist of it is right in the title, Failing Forward, that we're always failing forward. So, when bad stuff happens to us, what do? Do we go, oh, gosh, that's really, this is a horrible thing, and we just got caught up in that? Do we make camp in the seemingly bad things that happen to us? when life does not provide for us exactly what we're hoping. And I'm going to throw Thomas Edison under the bus here because, yeah, Thomas Edison, right? Granted, I know that somebody else actually created the light bulb before Thomas Edison, and Thomas Edison got a hold of it and all that good stuff. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter how Thomas Edison came to creation of light. What happened there was that he had all these failures, and his statement when asked of, wow, you're not being successful on this, right? He said, no, actually, what was that, like this is 10,000, I don't know the exact number. But he's like, no, I found 10,000 ways that it doesn't work. I'm successful at finding 10,000 ways that it doesn't work. But he did use the word, I'm successful at finding these ways that it doesn't work. So you have to look at really how something that seems like a failure that isn't our classification of success, how it could potentially be just a step closer to exactly what you want, because that's what it is. You've got to look at it as though it's those baby steps. When a baby is learning how to walk, they stand up, and they're shaking and they're holding on and they're excited and they're scared and they're excited and they're scared. And then all of a sudden they take a little step and then take another little step and another little step, and then they fall down. Did the baby succeed in walking? Or are we going to focus more on the fact that they fell or on the fact that they took a few steps? So, hey, Bill, Jason, Addison. So it's really focusing in on taking those steps instead of falling down, and making sure that you look at those successes, that those successes are all about you moving forward. And don't set up camp in the feeling that you have, not succeeded in that moment, because you are failing forward. As long as you're not setting up camp there. If you set up camp there, then you are making a statement of, this is exactly where I want to be, and this is where I'm going to stay, and this is what I'm used to, this is my comfort zone, this is where this is what it is, okay? So do not set up camp there. Just start recognizing the failures in gratitude. Recognize the failures in gratitude, be grateful for them, and look at them as though they are steps towards moving closer to your desired goal. And then if for some reason you keep having failure after failure after failure, it's like if one bad thing goes to another bad thing goes to another bad thing, and you're not finding that joy, that happiness, or you're getting consistent messages, and because the universe is going to give you consistent messages as to what you're thinking and feeling, okay? So pay attention to those messages that you're getting, because every single message that you get, you have a choice of beating yourself up, resisting it, and pointing the fingers outward, or actually going, okay, I've heard this now 3 times. Maybe there's something there for me to pay attention to. How am I responsible for these messages that are coming to me? And notice it said, how am I responsible for these messages that are coming to me? These messages are coming from outside sources, right? They can come from, a song that keeps playing. People keep saying a similar message, reacting a similar way to something like that. It can be, all these different things. Pay attention to those messages, because those things are things that you are thinking and feeling, and they are now reflecting out. And if it is something that is consistently causing you upset, or some sort of discord in your body, and frustration, unease, just not being happy, joyous, it causes like this. And typically that comes down to, a lot of the times, what I've experienced and see is that it's a feeling of inadequacy, not being worthy, not thinking that we're good enough, some form of shame or guilt coming up. And that is what these things come to us with. So pay attention that when you have those feelings of shame, guilt, unworthiness, those are really in here and not out there, okay? these messages out here are here presenting to you. That's the pudding, and it is going, hey, this is what you're putting out, so you need to change what's in here. Somebody asked the question. How do you know if you are feeling forward, if you are thinking, feeling something out of alignment, or if you simply are not on your path? So, not being on your path would be kind of like saying that these aren't my lungs that I'm breathing with today. You're on your path. The funny thing is that, you know, we all, it's the statement of, oh, I'm looking for myself. Well, look no further, you're right there. Look no further, your path is right there. You are, to find our purpose, to be on our path, is to be in the moment. And our path is constantly changing with our feelings and our thoughts. And if you are not on your path, then your feelings and your thoughts will alert you to it. So it really comes down to, you know, and the whole failing forward too is with this, is it comes back to the feeling. And are you feeling positive about where you're at, or are you feeling negative about where you are at? And if you are consistently doing something or experiencing something and it brings up negativity, that negative charge, it just you really have to fight to get out of that resistant energy. So if you feel fatigued, you feel frustrated, you feel depressed, you feel this, you feel that, all that, the lower spectrum of the emotions. And if it is more than like 2-3 days, give yourself a week tops, okay? So if it is more than a week of you feeling like this, because things happen, and you know, you could, especially for us women, it could be hormones, it could be just a multitude that you've got a whole bunch of stuff on your plate. You know, you got people in the hospital, you got this going on, you got that going on, you're dealing with a whole bunch of different stuff. So that stress can be there. But if you experience a feeling that, you know, you're just constantly feeling, and you have this frustration around it, and this hopelessness around it, and a depression around it, and there's just this constance there. If it is not bringing you joy, bliss, and I'm going to use the word bliss here to quote Joseph Campbell on it, if you are not in bliss at certain points and you cannot find your happy place consistently, then you may not be on your path. But it's not that you're not on your path, it's that you're not in alignment with your path probably. So what you have to do is, in those moments, something has to change. So you either have to get really, really good about changing your thoughts and your feelings around it, or you have to come back and you have to look at your desired goal, and you have to go, maybe I made this desired goal at this time too big, too much, in this moment. That doesn't mean that you can't have it. It just means that you, in this moment, are not quite aligned to it, because it's causing you frustration. It's causing you different, you know, issues in your life where you're getting really frustrated. So come back to, are you following your bliss? And if for some reason you're consistently not feeling a state of joy, happiness in your life, then that would be the only thing that I would say look at. That's the only real thing about the path there, is that you need to really look at that. And that is, it's an alignment issue. And sometimes you have to go back and realign yourself to something, another version of what your desire is, because we're really good as humans as putting the castle in the sky and saying, I'm going to go have that castle in a year from now. And then, I've got a point on this. So I'm going to go have that castle in a year from now. And then we step back and we're like, why the hell am I not getting that castle like right now? Why is this not happening? Why is it not happening? And a couple things are going on there. Number one, we put this tight time frame on it. And time frames, you know, we're told in self-growth and everything to put a deadline. And sometimes we have to have deadlines. Like, you know, if you have a car payment that's due or something, well, then there's a deadline, right? There's a deadline. Your mortgage, there's a deadline. There's that kind of stuff that there's a deadline to. So, but to have the castle in the sky, if you just go, I really want this picture, right? Bring it back to the sensation of what that castle in the sky is going to give to you instead of the castle in the sky. Because you're not going to be able really to attach to the castle in the sky right now because you're not living in a castle in the sky. And unless you've lived in a castle in the sky, you have no clue what it feels like to live in a castle in the sky. So what you need to do is step those goals back just a little bit, just bring them down just a little bit and make them more on what you can handle right now. So, a lot of the times, like multi-level companies, they'll say, you want to make $1 million a year, right? And then the majority of people out there making 50, 60,000 a year, I think the median is, for the most part, like household income, right? It's like 60,000. And they're trying to sell people on $1 million a year. Well, that's too big of a picture. But you can sell somebody on making an extra $1,000 a month. That they might be able to believe. They might be able to believe that they can have an extra $1,000 a month. So that $1,000 a month, though, is the first step to that $1 million a year. Some would say that that would be failing, though. I only made $1,000 extra each month over the course of a year. I didn't make an extra $1 million a year, so I failed. No, in that case, it's not failing. You are succeeding, but you are failing forward in a way. So look at, how are you really truly translating the things that are happening, because that's the only real judgment that you have to have here is the judgment of your feelings. And that judgment means that, it's not about what anybody else thinks. It's, if your family thinks that you're failing, not being successful, being stupid, that's their shit, not yours. How do you feel about it? And if you are feeling something and it's not really truly in an alignment, then it is going to cause resistance. And it really is resistance in your body, whether that is depression or anger or frustration or fatigue, worry, concern, and it's going to be a consistent resistance because, when you think something, and I guess here's a little exercise for you. So exercise, I want everybody to close your eyes, and I'm not going to know if you're doing this or not because a lot of you are going to watch this later because you're not up with me, but for those of you who are, take a moment, close your eyes, and I want you to think about one thing that you really, really want. Just one thing that you really, really want. And I want you to feel it. I want you to paint that picture in your head. I want you really to get into it. And as you're doing this, really stepping into that, I want you to notice the sensations in your body. What does your heart say? What does your gut say? What is the energy and, what are the muscles up in your shoulders and your neck say? What does your back say? Is there tension? Is there flutter? Is there excitement? Is there a feeling of pissed off, an anger, disbelief? Is there a feeling of sadness of, oh, that's never going to happen? As you come out of this, what is your face saying? Did you actually form a smile while thinking about it? Or did you just hold a very serious, solid face? Or did you actually have depression come across your face? So your body, depending on how in alignment you really are, is going to tell you exactly if that is there or not for you. If what you want is on point to your energy, your frequency, or if it's not. And it really is, you can try to fake yourself and you can try to say, oh no, I was smiling around that. Or was there more of just maybe you consciously smiled and made that smile happen, but in something in here was just going, I don't know. And if you have that, I don't know, that stress, that anything that constriction there and it's not excitement, then you need to go back and you need to realign yourself to your goal, which may mean that you need to slim your goal down just a little bit. Bring it down to a place that you can believe it. Start small and have the small success instead of trying to go for the big picture, because the big picture will happen with lots of small steps. The only way you're getting the castle in the sky is to build the staircase to the castle in the sky, and the only way you can do that is step by step by step. So you have to focus in on building those steps instead of the castle. Okay? So look at your steps. I don't know if that truly answered your question or not, because I feel like I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I know that everything happens for a reason. I'm not second guessing anything. So, but it really just, it's the big thing about because we really are, we're all told that we need to look for our path. We need to know who we are. We need to do this. I've got kids graduating this year. I got 2 kids taking off and moving to Hawaii this week. And it's funny because, it's like only 1 out of the 3 that I have that are doing these things, moving into adulting, right? That one is certain about the path and not questioning and just moving forward. And another one is trying to get herself to believe that, but she has resistance and she's not even aware of the resistance. And then the last one who's graduating, he still is trying to figure out, what should I do? I'm supposed to know what I'm supposed to do. I'm 18 and I'm supposed to have my whole life figured out before me. And because our society, and he's not getting this from me. For me, I'm telling him, do what makes you happy. What makes you happy? Where's your joy? I don't give a shit how much money you're making. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. It is about making yourself happy. And, that is the only thing that matters. That's it. If you want to have that fuck yes life, if you want to have everything that you think you want, sometimes the best things out there, or the pictures that we paint that we think are going to make us happy, will never make us happy because we're not happy inside anyway. So it really is coming back to if you attract what your dominant thoughts are, what you think about the most. You attract what you feel the most. If you feel negativity, then you are going to have negativity match you constantly. You are a magnet. We are all magnets. And if you are, find yourself frustrated in traffic all the time, and you're frustrated with the people there, and then you find yourself frustrated because of the money in your bank account, and then you come home and you're frustrated with the relationship that you have with your partner, and then you're frustrated with this and you're frustrated at that, but your baby just smiled and that gave you some joy. If that is the only joy that you're having in the day, is that your kid just smiled, but everything else is frustration, then your thoughts are built and feelings are built in a world of frustration. And that is what you're focusing in on, and that is why you're being met with nothing but frustration, 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 frustration. Okay? So it really is down to thoughts and feelings. It has nothing to do with path. You create your path. You create your luck. You are the creator. That is it. So stop questioning your path. Stop questioning the directions. Stop questioning any of that stuff unless you are feeling resistance to it. If you are feeling a state of resistance to it, now you need to pause. And this is resistance from in here. Okay. In here, not out here. If you are feeling resistance in here, worry, concern, sadness, depression, anger, frustration, now come back and not necessarily looking at, hey, I'm not on my right path. This isn't for me. No, maybe I need to change things up. Maybe I need to change the ingredients that I have right now so that I can learn how to make that down the road, but deal with the right now. And a lot of times you're going to find out that a lot of that frustration, worry, fear, anxiety, depression is all stemming from things of your past or things that you're worried about in the future, not even the now, the here and now. That's why focusing on the here and now is so important. That's why focusing in on having positive emotions in the moment is so important, because much like my 18-year-old who is worried about his future, he has stress in today, in this moment, because he's worried about his future instead of really focusing in on the blessings of today. And focusing in on the blessings of today is how you get to that beautiful future picture. So I mean, but if your pudding of today is not what you want it to be, then you definitely need to be, focusing in on whatever you think, whatever you're thinking. And here's the little thing that that you really, really need to pay attention to is a lot of the times we think that we're thinking about positive things when in fact we're thinking about those positive things in a negative way. Okay? So if we're thinking about those positive things in a negative way, then we're actually creating negative stuff. Okay? So it really comes down to, and this is why those feelings are so important, because if I have a thought of, I really need to pay my bills, I need to have extra money. It's Christmas time, right? So we all have excess money going out because we're buying things and we're doing all this stuff. And Christmas time puts a lot of pressure on us. It's like, man, I really need an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever it is. And even if I'm just going to go with $1,000, it's a simple number. I really need an extra $1,000 for Christmas. I really, really need it, but I don't have it. Where am I going to get it? I don't see where I'm going to get it. How am I going to have it? 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 What we're sending out in that feeling, in those thoughts, is I don't have the $1,000 extra, and I don't know how I'm going to have it, and I'm really focused in on how to get it, and it's causing me stress, it's causing me worry, it's causing me even depression about not having it, because I feel like I'm not being able to provide what I want to provide. I feel like I'm not being, I'm falling down as a person here. I'm not being the best parent. I'm not being the best this, blah, blah, blah. All those feelings. And what we're thinking is how we're thinking. Instead of like, oh, wow, I really want to make sure that my children this year, when they wake up on Christmas morning, I see my kids coming down the stairs and they see the presents there by the fireplace, and they're so excited about what is there that they can't help themselves, and there's so much joy in my house, and my kids are smiling and laughing on Christmas morning, and I can smell the fire going, and I can smell the breakfast in the oven that I'm making. Do you see the energy switch there? That and I was actually in my head that I'm like, okay, I can see my kids sitting by the fireplace and drinking, like hot apple cider, and I could smell the fire, and I could smell the blueberries bubbling away in the oven with like a breakfast enchilada thing going on. And the other one was more like, oh, I don't have that extra money, and now I'm feeling stress and fatigue, and because one of them, I was focused in on the feeling of Christmas morning. I was focused in on the joy, the connection, the love that was being experienced, the positivity of the morning. I wasn't focused in on what I didn't have. I was focused in on what that feeling that I could have, and the looks on my children's faces and all this different stuff. I was focused in on that with enthusiasm, with excitement, and with positive feeling in my body. So I was opening up to that. And on the other one, I was focused in on the how-tos, what do I need to do to get this? And oh my gosh, I have this deadline, it's Christmas, and I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have enough money to fill up my gas tank. I don't have enough time to do and be everything that I need to do and be. Every time I ask for what I need, I get resistance from everybody in my life, but I'm asking for what I need anyway. But man, just nobody really cares. Nobody really wants to give it to me. watch that even when we're thinking something, that we're putting this out, are we really restricting it by the feelings that we're having and by those back programs? Because the feeling that you have towards whatever thought that is going to 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. So the feeling that you have is really going to alert you to if you are in alignment to it or not. And if your first thought might be a positive thought, but you are putting resistance and timelines on it and constricting it, look at it like you're handcuffing the hands of God here, okay? Because that kind of stuff is going to handcuff the hands of God. And if you don't do the supportive thinking for that, then that first thought is going to get eaten up by those nasty little thought monsters that follow it. And it's all stemming from probably, and I always say constriction, because you'll notice that when you're not in a state of love and in a state of joy, bliss, that you're going to constrict. You're going to shut down. I mean, that's like yesterday I was talking about body language, right? And for somebody I was using this as a focus point. And it's like we can go from love, and then we can just be like constricted, and it's all something that we thought that then we felt, and maybe we weren't aware of that thought, but our body is starting to shut down. So pay attention to the constriction in your chest. And if you're not feeling this need to just expand and open into love, then you are probably constricting. So as much as you're going, I'm going to have $1,000 for Christmas, I'm going to have $1,000 for Christmas, I'm going to have $1,000 for Christmas. But if your body is going like this, you're just like, oh, I'm going to have $1,000 for Christmas. Yeah, I am. I'm going to have $1,000 for Christmas. But you're not energetically matching it, then you need to maybe say, okay, I am going to have the most positive Christmas. My kids are going to be, there's going to be so much love in my house. There's going to be so much laughter in my house. We're going to just really enjoy each other. And, I'm going to look forward to these smells and just watching my kids laugh and be in joy and be this and be that. And notice that as you start talking like that, you're going to start sitting differently. Your shoulders will start to go back. Your chest is going to open up. This pressure that you were once feeling right here is going to start to go away. So you can start feeding yourself those things that are going to give you the body change, and then actually kind of force your body to change a little bit. Because even though you can't fake out the universe, because the universe knows what you're doing on a cellular level, you can help move the cellular level up a notch by doing certain things. So that is where, if you find yourself that you're slumping or that you're closed off, unclose yourself, make that conscious decision to train your body to be more open, to pull your shoulders back a little bit, to open up the heart chakra, put a smile on your face, because it is proven that when we put a smile on our face, and if we're not happy and then we walk around and we're smiling, that the brain actually starts going, why is she smiling? Did something good happen because she's smiling? There's something going on here. What the heck? And then all of a sudden the mind goes into this space of, wait a second, they're smiling, so we need to start meeting why they're smiling. We need to figure out why it's going on. And if your mind, your brain can't figure out why you're smiling, the brain will actually start to move into more positive thinking, because it's trying to match what you were physically forcing to happen. Okay? So you need to, so much like, moving your shoulders back is a power move, is an open move. Putting a smile on your face is, it's first of all going to meet you with a whole bunch of negative thoughts. If you're in a negative mode, your brain is going to throw at you, why are you smiling? That's just stupid. I can't believe you're just driving down the road smiling for no reason. You don't even have music playing and you're smiling. This is absolutely ridiculous. And it's going to start to try to make you feel negative, because there's no reason for the smile. So it's going to try to, first of all, push the physical body into what it believes should be there, where that comfort space is. So really, really pay attention. A lot of people just walk around with just straight faces. There's no smile. There's no expression. There's no emotion. So get a little bit more animated is the message here. Is that if you want to change the pudding, start with some animation. Really pay attention to what those thoughts are. and really look at what the supportive thoughts are for that initial thought. So if you have a positive thought and then it falls and you allow the program of all the negative thoughts to come up and go boom, 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 boom. Positive thoughts can get kicked to the curb. You have to focus in with great certainty that on that positive thought, so that more positive thoughts, much like the smile on your face. Okay, so the smile on your head, the smile on your face, the smile on your heart. Focus on those things, head, face, heart, and allow that to be your guiding system. And if you're going to push on something, really truly push in on making sure that you are smiling in those areas. So positive thoughts being revealed in those areas. And it's going to take, on the front side, it's going to take a lot of focus and determination on your part to get this to happen. But I can tell you that it's worth it. I can tell you that it's worth it because you want to be matched to more positive things. And remember that you are a magnet. So smiles are going to get smiles matched back to them. So you are going to magnetize people being friendlier to you. You're going to magnetize happier things coming into your life just by smiling. So make that's your exercise of the day. Walk around with a smile on your face, like you just don't care, and act like you know that the world is your oyster, and stop worrying about the how-tos. Don't worry about the how-tos. Just focus in on those feel-good sensations, because the feel-good sensations are going to make the best pudding that you truly desire. And allow the universe to guide you a little bit there. So with that, I went over a little bit. Sorry guys, maybe those couple sips of coffee got to me. I will be here tomorrow at 6 a.m. for my December 6 a.m. conscious coffee. And who knows, we're talking about manifestation this month. That's what the focus is, obviously. God is leading me to just share focus life principles and manifestation, law of attraction. As if anybody does have something that they would like for me to really focus in on, feel free to pop me a message, in whatever fashion form that you can connect with me, because I don't mind having, little ideas pop off to me. I am keeping this a very organic, like in the moment discussion. I don't decide what the title of my conscious coffee is until I sit down here at about 5:58 and start typing it in and say, okay, God, what do you want me to talk about today? So you can find me at www.kendalwilliams.com, and please keep tuned and keep popping in. Love seeing everybody in here. So I will catch you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m.